Hi, this is Eileen Graff, and you are listening to TV Confidential.
Your father wasn't perfect, but he was pretty damn close.
Ed Robertson welcoming you to TV Confidential, radio talk show about television. Vince Van Patten will join us in our second hour. Vince Van Patten, son of Eight Is Enough star Dick Van Patten and the host of the World Poker Tour on Fox Sports 1. Vince is about to release a new movie called 7 Days to Vegas that takes you inside the world of professional poker players and the often crazy bets that they make among each other. As a matter of fact, 7 Days to Vegas is based on a bet that Vince Van Patten once made and lost. We'll tell you more about that when Vince Van Patten joins us in our second hour. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. Joining us later on this hour will be our friend Lynette Rice. Lynette Rice, editor-at-large for Entertainment Weekly. With the fall season soon upon us, we will ask Lynette which shows to look out for on network TV, cable TV, and the various streaming platforms. Lynette Rice will join us later on in this hour. In the meantime, we will open up this week's show by welcoming Laura Niemi. Laura Niemi, the actress who plays Milo Ventimiglia's mom, Marilyn Pearson, on This Is Us. This Is Us, the NBC hit series that is the #1 show on any broadcast or cable network in the all-important 18 to 49 demo, and the #2 ranked dramatic series in total viewership. In case you missed it, NBC announced a few weeks back that it has renewed This Is Us for 3 more seasons, which is very good news for not just the viewers of This Is Us, but for Laura and all of her cast members. Laura Niemi's other TV credits include The Sopranos, Criminal Minds, The Mentalist, V-Bones, Justified, and the cult series Firefly. She will soon be seen along with Anne Hathaway and Ben Affleck in the Netflix movie The Last Thing He Wanted. We'll ask Laura about that and more in just a sec. But first, Laura Niemi, welcome to TV Confidential.
Well, thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the pickup.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible, right?
Not only is it incredible, but, I mean, this is not something that happens very often.
No, it's not.
To show that much confidence in a show for a network to do that, especially in this day and age where you don't always know whether you're going to air all 13 or 18 episodes.
Right.
So I'm just guessing that you've been a performer all your life. You grew up in the industry. You don't always know where your next gig is going to be. So to have a sense of, I'm going to be doing this for the next 3 years, that's got to feel good for you and everyone involved in the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, just to be affiliated with the show, such a great, incredible show that I watch, my family watches, most people I know watch. That in and of itself is just so much fun. I mean, it's wonderful.
Why do you think This Is Us resonates with so many people across the board?
Well, I think Dan Fogelman has a very unique ability to get to our heartstrings. He discusses universal themes. I think, especially during this complicated time that we live in right now, the political climate, whatnot, it's nice to just kind of be sitting down and watching something that actually makes you feel good and warm and you can relate to. It's your family on TV. Get to know these characters. I mean, they become part of your family, you know? Yeah,
not only just the basic sense of family that the show provides, but in terms of things that relate to viewers or that resonate with viewers, everyone, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people can relate to the problems or the occasional dysfunctional stuff that happens in families.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And I feel like it makes us feel less alone. And I think in this day and age where everybody's kind of become more solitary, you've got your iPhones, you've got all these distractions, that actually connecting has taken a back seat. I think by watching our show, it just kind of makes people feel less alone.
Very much so. Speaking of social media and following and all that stuff, you can follow Laura on Facebook and on Instagram at Laura Niemi. Are you active in social media? Or is...
You know, I have fun on Instagram. Sometimes I tweet. I'm not always the best at it. And I have a Facebook page, but mostly Instagram, I'd say.
Well, I know of what you speak, because if you're not careful, it could become a full-time thing, just posting and maintaining an active following. So
it's true. So I have to pick and choose my moments. I definitely have to pick and choose my moments. And my husband, he's not active at all on social media. He really hates it. So I definitely am mindful in this household to be present.
It is very much sort of a necessity, but you got to figure out the best way to make use of it.
I don't know if it's so much of a necessity. It's, I like to kind of go into it because it was feeling like a necessity previously, and now I kind of just do it for fun and for free. When I want to stay connected, and I kind of just have fun with it now. I've kind of gone into a new spirit with social media and made friends with it, and I love to connect with people. So there's a lot of the people that I don't get to connect with, my family that lives in England, I get to see pictures, and it's just, plus it's, that's why I like Instagram, because it's photography, so you kind of lends it into an art form, taking cool pictures and whatnot and sharing that.
You can follow Laura Niemi on Instagram at Laura Niemi. Laura plays Marilyn Pearson, Jack's mom on the top-rated NBC series This Is Us. NBC recently renewed This Is Us for 3 more seasons. The season premiere of This Is Us is Tuesday, September 24th on NBC. We are talking to Laura on the Friday before the first week of June. You know this, Laura, because you grew up on sets. Your mom worked in television production, so you've been part of film and TV sets all your life. Once upon a time, most TV shows would start shooting production for the fall. They would start shooting around the first week of June. So since we're on the cusp of the first week of June, are you starting work on This Is Us as we speak, or is that later in the year? Or
No. I'm actually starting a movie filming out of state here soon. I can't really talk about, but I'm pretty excited about. I think they start up again soon, but we'll see.
We'll definitely see. In the meantime, This Is Us is renewed for the next 3 seasons here on NBC.
Incredible.
All good stuff. All good stuff. Now, you recently completed production on a movie for Netflix with Anne Hathaway and Ben Affleck called The Last Thing He Wanted, and it's based on a book by Joan Didion.
It is, and it's Dee Reese directing, and she adapted the screenplay, and it's just, I can't say enough about her. She's been on somebody I've wanted to work with ever since seeing a movie she did called Pariah, and then of course she became a network sweetheart with Mudbound and all the accolades that she got from that, justifiably so. She's just an incredible filmmaker, a real visionary, and I just feel so lucky that I got a chance to work with her. And I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's coming out later this year. It's a political thriller set in the 80s, and I play a coworker of Anne's character from the Washington Post. And it was just an all-around wonderful experience. We shot in Puerto Rico and in Florida, working alongside some incredible actors.
Laura Niemi can be seen opposite Anne Hathaway in The Last Thing He Wanted, the new Netflix movie based on the book by Joan Didion. The Last Thing He Wanted will premiere later this year on Netflix. It is based, I understand, it's set around the time of the 1984 presidential election. Now, do you play an actual person, or is your character based on an amalgam of people? What can you tell us about that?
Based on an amalgam of people, yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Is it harder for you as an actress to play a fictional character or a real person, or is your approach to the character the same regardless of whether it's fictional or real?
Well, I haven't really gotten a lot of opportunities to play a real character. When I worked on Jobs, I played Steve Jobs' secretary, and there I reached out to his secretary that he had for years and years, and that was kind of neat. But this character wasn't really based on her as much, so I haven't done that as much. I would think that would be an extra layer of responsibility, but I'd be excited to do that. I mean, that would be incredible, just incredible.
Okay, if this were a written test, your answer would be not applicable.
In a way, not applicable. Yes. I failed the test.
No. You did not fail the test. I struck out with the question. On the line with us is Laura Niemi. Laura plays Marilyn Pearson, Jack's mom, on the top-rated NBC series This Is Us. She can also be seen in the upcoming Netflix movie, The Last Thing He Wanted. This Is Us returns for its 4th season on NBC on Tuesday, September 24th. Tell me this, Laura, what in general do you look for when either you go after a part or when a character comes your way? Do you look for the character? Do you look for whether it's comedy or drama? Do you look for whether it's film or stage? Because we didn't mention this, but you have an extensive background in the theater. Is there any one thing you look for in a character, or does it all depend?
Writing. The writing. For me, it always comes down to the writing. And then who's affiliated with the project? I mean, obviously if it's film, it's going to be the director. I want to know who the director is and, who the showrunners are on TV. But at the core, for me, it's always about the writing. I'm a sucker for good writing. I mean, I just did a short recently, and it was on the page, so it was like, oh, God, I got to do this. I probably made a sandwich off of it, but it didn't matter. I really wanted to do it. It just sucked me in with great writing. It was really fun. And so, yeah, I'd have to say the writing.
Now, going back to This Is Us. Now, you've played Marilyn for 3 years. Now, do the writers talk to you as to, where the story or where her arc might go? Or do you work with whatever script they give you and then you ask for input? How does that work?
It's Dan Fogelman. I don't think he needs to have a meeting with me to tell me about where he thinks the show is going. He's doing a pretty good job on his own. And I've been kind of sprinkled in through season 1 and fleshed out a little bit more in season 3 here. So it's just there. It's just there on the page. They're just incredible writers that collaborate. Dan's at the head, but there's also some wonderful writers that are just capturing the essence. I think they see a little bit of my essence and they kind of sprinkle that in. But they, I believe Dan already knows where this is going. I really trust him. I think he's an incredible visionary that way. You
kind of anticipate my next question because you come from theater, you come from live performance. Once upon a time, you performed in the rock group Spork. So you've done a lot of live performance, and in the moment, you have to trust whether you're doing a play or whether you're performing music. You sort of have to bond together with the rest of your castmates or band members. So that sense of trust, it sounds like that permeates in whatever you do, whether it's for stage or for television.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it otherwise. I mean, you got to have that. It's definitely a team sport. Yeah, and I've been very fortunate to work with some pretty incredible people and have different opportunities in my life that have kind of tapped into different things that I'm interested in. Music, theater, film, television.
And going back to This Is Us, from what I understand, it truly is a family type of atmosphere, top and bottom, not only between you and the other actors, but as you mentioned, with Dan Fogelman and all the people behind the scenes. And even though I'm not an actor, Laura, I'm just a guy who talks to actors, but ideally that's the way it's supposed to be, and yet it doesn't always happen that way. So when it does happen on a show like This Is Us, I imagine that just makes you appreciate the experience all the more.
Absolutely. Although I have to say, I feel like in this day and age, there's so much talent out there. You're working 17 hours a day sometimes on set. The day of, having divas on set, I think that's just gone. I think everybody knows that at this point you have to be easy to work with. You're working these long hours. You don't want to be working with people that are making you miserable, Mm-hmm. I felt a switch a little while back that, the sets that I've been on have been very welcoming and wonderful, but yes, there is a special sense on This Is Us, and it really starts from Dan. He's just an approachable guy, a lovable guy. Therefore he's surrounded himself with people who are the same way, just very approachable, professional, and really are grateful to be there.
On the line with us is Laura Niemi. We're grateful that Laura is spending a few minutes of her day talking to us. Laura Niemi plays Marilyn Pearson, Jack's mom, on the top-rated NBC series This Is Us. Laura's other film and TV credits include The Sopranos, Criminal Minds, The Mentalist, Veep, Firefly, Chastity Bites, Chronic and the upcoming Netflix movie, The Last Thing He Wanted. You can follow Laura Niemi on Instagram at Laura Niemi. I did a deep dive in Laura Niemi-ness before I called you.
You did? Oh, God.
And
make me cry.
No. I hope not. But I understand one of your first jobs was you worked as a telemarketer for a theater company.
I did. I love that job. I got to talk about theater all day long. Mm-hmm. I would sell subscriptions to the Odyssey Theater here in West L.A., a theater that I believed in and the work that they're doing, and it's been there forever. I'm a big lover of equity waiver theater. I've had more incredible experiences in a 40-seat venue than in some of the bigger theater houses. Yeah, it was just a great job. I learned about new playwrights and directors and actors that started following, and that's eventually where I gathered my tribe of people when I branched out for my theater company. Mm-hmm. I had met the director who I chose for Killer Joe, and I had met some amazing designers there at the theater I work with, and I met my husband there. Mm-hmm. He was stage managing for a while there. I mean, it's just, I was in a theater company there, so that job that started as a job at a theater became this wonderful gift in my life, and I'm forever grateful for. And
I'm just thinking aloud here, but when you think about it, the basic skills involved in telemarketing is selling and to some degree performing. And when you think about it, when you audition, you're selling yourself.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I think that is a special skill set of actors. But it was also something I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. So for me, it didn't feel like selling because I could sit and talk about different playwrights forever and ever and ever. I love to talk shop. So it didn't feel like a job, which is probably why I stayed there so long and why I loved it so much.
Once upon a time, I tried telemarketing. I tried it for a short time, and I wasn't very good at it. And I think the reason why I wasn't very good at it is because I didn't have the passion for what it is I was telemarketing about. And that makes all the difference.
So true. It really does. In this household, I hate cooking. Every time I go into the kitchen, I'm just like, my husband's he's the chef, and it does not bring me joy. Mm-hmm. So it's just always a struggle. And I see him light up in the kitchen, and it's like, okay, that's not going to be my journey.
Well, that goes back to the team metaphor we're talking about, is that you figure out, okay, which part of the team excels at this or which wants to do this, and they're going to do a better job.
Right, exactly.
Laura Niemi is on the line with us. Laura Niemi, the actress who plays Marilyn Pearson, Jack's mom on NBC's This Is Us. We'll take a quick time out, and then we'll continue our conversation with Laura here on TV Confidential.
Become an advertiser or underwriter of TV Confidential and let our brand help promote your brand. To find out more, go to televisionconfidential.com/advertise.
Attention sports fans, now you can watch every football game you want all season long without leaving your home with Dish for about $50 a month. Compared to your cable bill, you can save almost $600 a year. Call right now and sign up for Dish and watch every football game you want. With Dish, there are no boxes to pay, plus get free installation as soon as tomorrow if you call now. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch your favorite sports and channels on your smartphone, tablet, or laptop. Be one of the first 100 orders right now and get a free voice remote. Don't miss a single football game all year long and save a ton of money. Get a free voice remote and free installation as soon as tomorrow. But you gotta call All American Dish right now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Story Salon is Los Angeles' longest-running storytelling venue. We have live shows every Wednesday in Studio City, as well as solo shows, podcasts, CDs, and several books. Los Angeles Daily News calls Story Salon Gemstones of Narrative, something new, funny, astonishing. Sunset Magazine says tales tall, tragic, and tantalizing. All of this makes Story Salon one of the most eclectic entertainment experiences available. You can learn more about us by going to our Facebook page or by visiting our website at www.storysalon.com.
Accredited by Guinness World Records, welcome to Archival Television Audio Incorporated, a peerless TV soundtrack archive preserving the audio from television's first 3 decades, the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, the golden and silver age of television.
For more information, go to atvaudio.com.
Ed Robertson, along with her friend Donna Allen Figueroa, who I understand has a new book out.
Yes, it's entitled Fall Again Beginnings. It's the first part of a 4-part contemporary romantic series set against the background of working actors.
Something that you know a thing or two
well,
about.
You write what you know, and I have been working in the business for several years.
It is not necessarily autobiographical, but it's based on...
Sure, many of the experiences that the actors in my book have, many have happened to me, many have happened to friends of mine. It's not, if you're looking for Valley of the Dolls, it's not, it's grounded in reality.
It is grounded in reality, and it's the first in a series.
Yes.
Called the Fall Again series.
Fall Again.
Which is available as a paperback as well as an ebook and in Kindle at fallagainseries.com.
Hello, this is Eric Braden. You're listening to TV Confidential. Ooh.
Roberts with a reminder that Lynette Rice will join us later on this hour. Lynette Rice, editor-at-large for Entertainment Weekly magazine. We hope you stay tuned for that. In the meantime, on the line with us right now is Laura Niemi. Laura plays Marilyn Pearson, Jack's mom, on the top-rated NBC series This Is Us. Season 4 of This Is Us starts Tuesday, September 24th on NBC. Laura also recently co-starred opposite Oscar winner Anne Hathaway in The Last Thing He Wanted. The Last Thing He Wanted, the forthcoming Netflix movie based on the book by Joan Didion that centers around the 1984 presidential election. Laura's other film and TV credits include The Sopranos, Criminal Minds, The Mentalist, Veep, Firefly, Chastity Blues, and Chronic. You can follow Laura Niemi on Facebook as well as on Instagram at Laura Niemi. Now, I have to ask you this. We talked about early in your career, you're in the... Let me see if I got this right. It's a punk performance rock group called Spork.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. I know what performance art is in theater. What is performance rock? Is it just...
Well, I'm going to date myself, but it was kind of like when... do you remember the band Devo?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when they first came out on the scene, they were what was considered performance art, a band. That's kind of what we were. Very theatrical. And... yeah, so we got to tour with Marilyn Manson, and, you know, we had fun. We did some videos and some songs that were going to land in some movies. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but, you know, and then Spork took its own trajectory of where we all had other things.
Sure.
The lead singer is a director, writer, and, the drummer was touring with Neil Young, and the guitarist is since done many things in various different bands, so... everybody just kind of went off and did their thing.
Yeah, but for fans of This Is Us and your other work, we're glad you did, because...
No, I'm definitely glad it's part of my story. It's something for years I would always... that has nothing to do with that. But it really does. It's part of my story.
Yeah, that's the key word, especially... And again, I'm not an actor. This is stuff I learned from talking to actors, but... Everything you do, everything you bring up to that moment, when you audition, or even when you're, depending on what the story, what the writing takes you on the film or TV show you're working on right now, all of the total of your experience, you draw from that one way or another.
Absolutely. In the music industry, for anybody who is really in the know, if you can handle the music industry, you can pretty much handle anything. It makes Hollywood look like a field day. Yeah, it definitely gave me some thick skin.
We talked about how early on you basically grew up on film and TV sets because your mom worked in production. She was a producer for many, many years. Did she encourage you to become a performer, to become an actress? Is that something you came into on your own?
Well, I was always interested in performing arts. I was always involved in music and dance and studied acting, not seriously, but I was always involved in it. And then I got real serious about it in my 20s. But I think she knew that I was going to be a performer. I always, it's that thing of what your parents do, you want to do the opposite. I was like, you know what, the last thing I'm going to do is be in this business. No way. And also, you have to understand that during that time, as a woman in the industry, this was decades ago, it was harder. It was really, really hard. It's gotten a lot better, obviously. We still have got some ways to go, but it was really a boys' club. So this was back in the Dawn Steele kind of days. And it just, her life was, she was gone a lot. I was a latchkey kid. It had its own challenges. So that wasn't on my radar of, I don't want to do that. And lo and behold, just kind of the theater, going back to the theater again, really. It just grabbed hold of me, and that was it. It was a love affair.
And just talk about some of the things you've done in the course of your career, and just to show how things have changed over the decades. You've been working with a lot of, not only you personally have worked with a lot of great female directors, but there are a lot more, women behind the scenes who are in decision-making positions.
That's right. Well, hey, look, this is us. Elizabeth Berger. I think at this point it's heavily female team of writers. So that's fantastic. Yeah, I know, it's really changed. It's just wonderful. I got to work with 3 incredible directors last year. So, in all various stages of their career, Dee being, at the highest, and a new filmmaker that I told you about that short, and of course, one of our female directors that did an episode on This Is Us this past season, who is, fantastic. So, yeah, no, it's wonderful. I'm loving it. More, please. Loving it. Loving it.
Okay. All right, so we talked about The Last Thing He Wanted, which is coming later this year. You mentioned the short film that you'll start filming later this month in June. Is that the comedy short?
No, the short that I did with Naveed Negabon, who just was in Aladdin. So I just went to that premiere. It was so exciting to see him. He plays the Sultan. We shot that this past year, and that's making the rounds. It's kind of gathering some wonderful festival awards. That's a dark comedy that I did, that I'm starring in. So that's kind of doing the rounds right now. Just exciting.
Laura Niemi plays Marilyn Pearson, Jack's mom, on the top-rated NBC series This Is Us. Season 4 of This Is Us starts Tuesday, September 24th on NBC. You can also see Laura very soon in the upcoming Netflix movie, The Last Thing He Wanted. You can follow Laura Niemi on Facebook and on Instagram at Laura Niemi.
Thank you so much, Ed. Have a great weekend.
You too. Lynette Rice will join us later on in the hour for a brief look at shows to watch out for on network television, cable, and streaming this fall season. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. In the meantime, got a few minutes, enough time to tell you that if you're a fan of Saved by the Bell, our friends at Shout Factory invite you to a very special class reunion with the gang at Bayside High with the release of Saved by the Bell, the complete collection, a maxed out 16 DVD box set of the popular Saturday morning sitcom from the 1990s that also helped launch the careers of Mark Paul Gosselaar, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Mario Lopez, and Elizabeth Berkley. Saved by the Bell, the complete collection, contains more than 46 hours of Bayside Bliss, including every episode of Good Morning, Miss Bliss, the short-lived Disney Channel series that morphed into Saved by the Bell, plus the primetime sequel, Saved by the Bell, The College Years, and the 2 feature-length made-for-TV movies that followed. Bonus features on Saved by the Bell, the complete collection, include 2 brand-new behind-the-scenes documentaries, audio commentaries, photo galleries, and a whole lot more. Saved by the Bell, the complete collection, is available now wherever DVDs are sold through our friends at Shout Factory.